Youth service across both the statutory and voluntary sectors benefits greatly from the essential role played by volunteers. Many youth groups would not exist if it were not for more than 23,000 volunteers who give their time, energy, and commitment to youth work across Northern Ireland.
It's critical to have a very good team of volunteers, and without that, the work wouldn't happen. So I was very fortunate to be able to gather up in a variety of ways teams of volunteers who were tremendous. Some of them were particularly good with young people, some particularly good with older teenagers, and that was absolutely essential.
If you look at it in Northern Ireland context, you know, you can't go too far without talking about sport, you know, and sporting prowess and sporting achievements and the contribution that youth work has been over the years to that, whether that be the boxing fraternity or the amateur league football, you know, the GAA, you know, all of those areas make a significant contribution at local level to local people's lives. I mean, the volunteers that, you know, turn up on a wet, damp November, December, January, February night to referee, to pick the kids up, to do the coaching sessions. You can't underestimate that.
What we had to make sure was that the organisation still needed and still had the ethos of volunteering. The volunteers needed to have their say, they needed to be brought along, they needed to be developed, and nothing changed in that front. That was still the ethos of the organisation. It was still a volunteer-led organisation.
The amount of time that volunteers put into the local youth organisations, whether it be uniformed church groups or even within the statutory sector, I think a lot of them had come through youth organisations themselves, and really they had benefited and wanted to give something back. And other volunteers had come up through as a young person right through. And I think also a lot of parents were coming, dropping their children off and thinking, maybe I could help here.
I think people are motivated to volunteer because they're inspired by young people. I think when they begin a purposeful relationship with young people and they see young people flourish, which is what youth work does, then it's very, very rewarding.
Perhaps as the oldest sitting around the table, I need to say that I got involved as a 9-year-old when my father decided to take me to the local company and did my 3 years in what was then known as the Life Boys, now known as the junior section. Moved on from there into the company section, and I remember at one stage in the company section saying to my father one night that I wasn't going to the Boys Brigade. Don't know why, too much homework, made some sort of an excuse. And he said he had paid the enrolment fee and I was going.
I'll tell you when and how I became involved. As a 14-year-old girl, I was invited to come and help with the Life Boys in the 76 Belfast Company at Craiga. In those days, there wasn't actually any child protection or regulations about what age you had to be, and like Perry, I've been there ever since.
We enjoy it. I'm not 50 years. I wouldn't be in it for 50 years if I didn't enjoy it as well.
Somebody get a call from somebody say, I'm applying for a job, can I put you down for a referee? So it makes you think, yes, well, it must have done something right for this young man, that he feels that he has respect for me to come and ask for a reference.
When I did get involved as a boy and then as an officer, I looked back and reflected on the fact that there was someone there for me. If I can help someone else that way, then that would be good to do.
I think, I don't think I've ever volunteered for anything, to be perfectly honest. It's not something I willingly do. But if somebody asked me to do something, that's a different story. And I think the reason I agreed at the time when I was asked to come into the BB as an officer was because I had such respect for the other leaders and was so fond of them, I wanted to be part of them.
I think through volunteering as well, you develop as a person, and I think, when I look at many of the things that I would do now, I would say, that maybe I'm in the position where I am in my job at the moment, partly because of my involvement with the Boys Brigade.